Good afternoon, everyone. For anyone that missed the last session, my name is Laura Husband, and I'm the managing editor at Just Style. So we're a digital publication that focuses on the end-to-end fashion supply chain. So if you're interested in getting regular news and insights on what's happening within the fashion supply chain, you can sign up to our free daily newsletter. So the alternative materials market is growing. In 2022 alone, next-gen material firms bagged 456.8 million of investments, according to the Material Innovation Initiative. And a report published by advisory service firm Sustainable last month revealed the fashion industry has seen a 400% increase in the number of material innovation startups since 2017. And this is said to take the total to more than 650 in operation. None of this is surprising, given legislation is on its way to make the fashion industry more sustainable, and there are lots of material options available today. In this session, we're going to explore how biomaterial alternatives, in particular, are already successfully changing the face of sustainable fashion. And to do this, I am very happy to have with me Dr. Raquel de Prado from Ananas, Anam, and Achille Gazagnes from Moea. I do apologise if I said any names wrong.
Fine, perfect.
And to get us started, perhaps Raquel, could you tell us a little bit about your company's alternative material offering? I know you're sporting some of it on you today as well, which is quite exciting.
So we work with pineapple leaf fibers, and the fibers come from the plant, from the leaves, not from the fruit. So this is the fiber, and the leaves are 1 meter long. And it's a waste from the pineapple harvesting. So after 2 pineapple harvesting, they need to crop the whole plant, and that will be burned or left to rot in the soil. And what we do is we work with the farmers. We help them how to extract and help at the beginning. And then we buy the fibers from them. And we have, from there, we have 2 different materials. So we have this, that it will be the fiber after the processing to textile grade, and it can go to Piñatex, that it will be like more like, look like a leather type of alternative material. And then we have the piña yarn, that is a yarn that it can be used in many different applications. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
And I guess we can explain the shoes. Maybe if we introduce Achille first of all, and you can tell us a bit about your brand, your company ethos, and how you use what Raquel does with her company, with your products as well.
Well, at Moea, we are just another actor, but on the same target, which is to create plant-based shoes. So we're using their material on footwear. So Moea is a plant-based footwear brand.
And what does Moea stand for?
Moea?
Moea?
Mother Earth, it's the contraction. And basically we're making shoes, and well, Ananas Anam is one of the supplier we're using. We're using right now 9 different biomaterials. So we're kind of trying to pioneer different biomaterials. It's just the other, corner of the medal. You have suppliers trying to innovate, and we are here to support them and try to put them on the market and put their material on foot for everyone wearing them, basically.
Amazing. And these are hot off the press, aren't they? They're both sporting. I don't know if you can see. They're both
very corporate. We put the 2 same shoes. And this is made with piña yarn. It's not Piñatex.
But as you got across before, it's crucial to think of it in terms of it being from the leaves, the pineapple leaves. And that's how it's been created. Oh, fantastic. Well, to get us started, perhaps you could tell us, perhaps Raquel could go first, what are the sustainable benefits of using plant-based biomaterials compared to synthetic alternatives and animal-derived leathers? And what do they bring to this whole debate around circularity?
So I can talk more about our material. What we are mostly based is on using waste products, so something that is already there to create materials instead of deploying something that is new and you need to create in a way. So why don't you use the things that the earth is already giving us? So with that, we decrease the waste because we start the circularity by using it. And then compared to other materials, also the water, how we we don't need so much water to create our material is quite important. Our processing is mostly mechanical. We only have 2 steps in the whole supply chain that requires water. And we are trying to recirculate it, so we are working quite a lot on that. And also, at the end of life, when you work with a plant-based material, you have other options. So we can chemically recycle in a way, because it's a cellulosic, so you think on how cotton, because cotton is another cellulosic material, can be recycled. Our material will be almost the same. And you can mix with other plant-based materials, because you will be able to recycle or get to the end of life in the same way. So it's important to do it that way.
Fantastic. Achille, did you want to add anything to that?
Sorry. When it comes to shoes, basically, I've been vegan for 5 years. Before I launched the brand, I was consuming Samba from Adidas, made from PU, and that's it. On the market, you have shoes made from animal skin, generally co, or you have PU. The idea is just to have new kind of products that are plant-based, which means that they are more sustainable than animal leather, because you will need a lot of chemicals, and obviously you also have a part of slaughtering, breeding of the animals that consume a lot of CO2. And compared to plastic, which was before the one thing that you could wear instead of animal leather, well, right now you have much more efficient materials that are recycled and plastic-free. Like this shoe, for instance, all the upper is plastic-free, whereas on the market you have nylon, which is basically just a derivative from plastic.
Brilliant. And that's interesting what you're saying there about how things are evolving, and the technology is improving, and the availability of these materials is improving.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the future for alternative materials within the fashion sector and footwear?
Well, we launched Moea. We launched Moea only 3.5 years ago. We launched the brand with 5 different biomaterials. We're using obviously the pineapple-based material, but also cactus skin, corn skin, grape skin, and apple skin. And now we have seen that a lot of different biomaterials are also launching, like mushroom skin, for instance, that you may have also heard about. Orange skin that we found. So you have really, this is really an industry that is rising. There is a lot of innovation from different countries in the world just to tackle this problem of recycled product, of and animal material, and all animal derivative materials. So this is something really passionate about. So the future is just new kind of materials, always enhancing their own process. And this is really it's really cool just to see all of this innovation and being able to use them and put them on foot.
Amazing. And Raquel, what about from your perspective? Obviously, you're in the thick of it in terms of creating new things, etc. What do you think the future of alternative materials looks like?
I feel quite positive, because you see the movement. We've been in the market since 2016. We were kind of the pioneers, and now we see that we have competitors, and the people will think that this is negative, but no, it's really positive for us, because there is room for everyone, and you see that new technologies are coming, the people is thinking more on the planet and how to get solutions for the So how to get solutions to overcome the problems that come on climate change, and how also the people, the end consumer, gets more and more that the change is needed. So we feel quite positive on that.
Brilliant. Obviously, the fashion sector has a lot of challenges. How do you feel alternative materials such as your plant-based offering and the plant and fruit-based offering that you use within your footwear, how do you feel like they might be able to help the challenges that we're seeing within the wider fashion sector?
So I mean, one of the main challenges is, I guess, the overconsumption. So we also try to educate in a way and make the people understand also on the whole value chain, not only from the environmental point of view, but also from the social point of view. Like if you buy a T-shirt that is £3 and there are 15 people involved in the producing of that T-shirt, how much do you think that each person is getting? So we are also trying to make the people think that everyone deserves a wage and everyone likes to have a good life. So also put that in the conscience. So it's how we try to communicate. And I think that also the people is seeing the effects of the climate change at the same time. So we have seen last year's drought, now like some floodings everywhere, the fires are more and more. So people is starting to get on that, and they will relate to fashion, and it's the way we express with clothes. So I think that can be a movement.
Do you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I could add that, as she said, there is like plenty of room for many different brands, just like us. Like they are pioneering their material. They were like among the first to have them on the market. We are among the first brand, pioneering biomaterials and to have this offer that is so wide about different biomaterials. And when we see other brands, like for instance, they did a partnership with H&M using their material. Obviously, the biggest brands will follow this movement because they will just see that there is a demand of more ecological product. And this is really a good thing, The textile industry is the second most polluting industry in the world, just after agriculture. It is because we are consuming too much, but also because brands are just doing they're just behaving really bad in the way they produce goods. Like they don't give a shit about the kind of materials they will use, where they're gonna produce, and if they see that new brands are here, and with the traction that we had in only 3 years with Moea, they can feel that okay, they also need to move. It's like Burger King offering right now in France, because here it's different, but in France it's new for us to have a vegetarian sandwich in our Burger King chain. Well, it's a good way of changing biggest brands which have a bigger impact than we will have as like a young brand.
Definitely, and it's interesting what you said there about agriculture being the most polluting and fashion being the second, because obviously with the idea of using the pineapple leaves, you're tapping into both by using the waste from the leaves for the pineapples, which will be used for consumption. So it's kind of two birds, one stone, which is quite beneficial. And I understand your sneakers at Moea, they're composed of 49% fruit.
59%.
Yeah, 59% fruit and plant bio-based materials. I was curious to find out about the R&D that's going into trying to increase that percentage in future. Yeah. I know it's always changing and evolving.
Well, we have there is the upper, but there is also obviously the sole, the thread, the counterpart of the shoes, the glues that you're using, what you're using to make your labels and everything. We're trying to find the most plant-based material to replace plastic. Animal material, it's not possible for us to use, but we have some materials using plastic, and for us, what we see that we need to move forward and erase any fuel-based material. This is the future for us. We're not there, Yeah. So on average, it's like 59% of. It's an average of the different biomaterials that we use: cactus skin, cold skin, grape skin. Some are already plastic-free. Some are not plastic-free totally, but we can see that they are reducing and reducing and reducing the part of plastic, and we are here to go on with this movement. So right for us, as we see it, and this is because we are a vegan native brand, we can easily erase any animal material today. In the future, in the coming years, it will be erasing any fuel-based materials.
So that's the next step.
Completely.
So it's a journey, and it's just constantly evolving as technology improves. And
consumers don't see it, but we change. Like this sole is made out of sugarcane. We change always the different materials that we're using for the thread, for the labels, and we keep sourcing new materials, and we keep like listening what they have as new material to offer. And once they have a new material that is like awesome in terms of ingredients that there is inside, we're here to take them and try them and put them on the market.
So that is the future, really, isn't it? It's just constantly evolving and working with the new R&D that comes through to make this better and better.
Yeah, like sports, like we are in the sneaker industry, you know, so the biggest brand, it's Nike, Adidas, and Puma, you know. They come from the sports industry, so as I see it, they kept and they're keeping evolving on the technical part of the shoes, which was and still is driven by plastic. We are here to keep innovating in the sustainability part, you know. This is how we see the difference that we can have. So we're here to be what Nike is to technical innovation, but to sustainable innovation.
That makes sense. Oh, thank you very much. And obviously we're talking about alternative materials within that scope, within circularity and sustainability. So it'd be interesting to get some insights from you about the manufacturing side of the business. And where are you located in terms of your manufacturing facilities? Do you have any plans to expand them? Any kind of near sourcing, near shoring hubs in the pipeline in future? Maybe starting with you, Raquel.
So we have two different locations. So manufacturing, one is in the Philippines. It's where the first pineapple leaf fibers came. So we have the site there, and we tried the fibers from the Philippines there to become the textile grade one. And then we have another one in Spain, and in Spain it's more like a research hub, I would say, where we treat and we try fibers from other different parts of the world, because it's quite well located and it's in between Africa, Asia, and America, quite in the center. So it helped us to get at the beginning the fibers from them. We have now from Bangladesh and Ivory Coast fibers there. We are treating them, and when those markets increase enough to make sense for us to put the site in the source, so we will move there. So everything is an evolution. So we need to make sure that it makes sense with volumes to create the site there. So we started in the Philippines, and now from Spain we will see where it will be the next one.
Brilliant. So it's kind of bringing that supply and demand together, so it's closer together. Makes sense. And obviously you work with different companies, don't you?
Right now we're making everything in Portugal in terms of shoe manufacturing, but we have different suppliers. So we have each time materials coming from different parts of the world. When it comes to a shoe, if you're doing like an LCA, life cycle assessment to a shoe, 70% of the carbon emission are due to the materials you'll be using on the shoe. 15% will be the manufacturing activity, and basically what's the electricity and how much electricity you're using to make the shoes, and 5% transport. So the most important for us is to know if the facilities we're using, they have like solar panels on the roof, what's the electricity contract that they have. The electricity mix of a country will have a huge impact on the carbon emission of your factory. So, you know, like we're producing in Portugal, but Brazil, for instance, has an excellent electricity mix because they're using a lot of renewable energies. So we could produce there. The question is, like, what's the power coming from on your manufacturing? Apart from that, obviously, as we're like a vegan brand and we want to have a good impact, we are also looking on human rights, but it seems to me too obvious to say it.
Brilliant, fantastic. And would you say consumer demand is growing for vegan and sustainable alternative materials? Sorry, I'll say that again for you. Would you say consumer demand is growing for vegan and sustainable alternative materials?
Yeah, I would say that the veganism is growing itself, so as a movement, so that will mean that they don't want to depend so much of leather, and also it's a movement that is evolving from plastic too, because at the beginning vegan was like just not animal, but now they also want something that is more sustainable. So they are moving to other alternative materials. So we are coming, and if you don't, meat consumption is going down a bit. So you cannot consider the leather a byproduct anymore. So if you don't eat meat, leather is not going to be your byproduct. So we need other byproducts to cover that market.
I would say that it depends on the market. I'm coming from France, where like there is just less than 1% vegetarian, and where vegan is really a word that is frightening for a lot of people that are feeling, you know, like it's not like a word that we use. If we do a vegan, like an ad with the word vegan in France, we really have really bad reviews. Rather than in Germany or here in the UK, it's a positive word. Even if you eat meat, you're like, okay, it's vegan, it's cool, and you can eat meat and also sometimes have vegan product. In France, that's much more complicated. So plant-based is more a word that we're saying. Vegan is a word that we can use here or in Germany. So it really depends on the country. But what we can see is that the vegan footwear overall has a higher growth than the footwear itself. So we really believe that it will, it will take the lead. It will take time, but it will take the lead. Just depending on how you say it, how you communicate it to the different people.
That's really interesting about how consumer attitudes are different in different places.
Yeah.
So what do you think the wider fashion industry can do to spread the word about the benefits of these materials? Because obviously, whether or not someone is pro or not vegan, there are still benefits to using these materials, aren't there? So how can we kind of increase that message to consumers and across the wider fashion industry?
How to?
I guess that is mainly focusing on on all the impacts of the product itself. So how you provoke like the environment, but also the social rights. That is something that is complete in their 3 pillars of the sustainability, not just vegan. It's complete on the sustainability effect. So we care about the CO2, we care about the water, we care about the people, and that needs to be promoted.
Definitely.
Did you have anything to add on that in terms of improving that?
On how to spread the word? Well, you have many different stakeholders in the fashion industry: the consumers, the brands, the suppliers. You have also the legal aspects. I'm still surprised that we have products that shouldn't be in our markets, in our European markets, and they can enter really easily in our markets. So there is everyone has to take action. We are taking action as a brand to try to make things right. I love sneakers. It's just that I have to assume that all the sneakers I was consuming when I was a teenager are not that good for the environment. And I still, look at them and I back in terms of design, New Balance and everything, it's amazing. Just they have to make things right. So we're here to try to take the lead and make a change in the whole industry. But you also have consumer needs to change and how they buy things. And well, we have to take some support from the also politics. It takes time to change, but everyone has to adapt. It's just a bit too slow.
Yeah.
For me.
Which is a shame, isn't it? And I guess price can sometimes remain a barrier. And it's been difficult times for everyone with the cost of living crisis, etc. What role do you feel price plays in this uptake of biomaterials?
It's quite an important one because all the brands, they want the best of the best, but to the lower price, and that is not always possible. And also, we need to understand that new technologies at the beginning are more expensive because they need to evolve to more efficiency. So you need to give the chance to these new technologies to evolve, and with the time they will be cheaper because everything everywhere had happened the same. At the beginning, the use of plastic was not so cheap. they just been like here for almost 100 years now, so that, of course, they are more efficient than we are at the moment in that terms of costing, because not in terms of energy. It's a different thing. So yeah, it's just that the brands, they need to embrace us, and we will be able to, with the volumes, to reduce costing.
Anything to add to that?
It's really a tricky question, even for us, because if you go online and you check our website, you're going to see that the product might seem expensive for you, because it's like the range of our product is from 130 euros to 200 euros. So we're always asking the question to ourselves, like, is it like a good innovation and a low carbon, product, but for rich people? How we make it like available for people that are less rich? And this is really a question that we are asking ourselves, how we can decrease the price of the product to make it wider and more available. But at some point, what's cheap is always too expensive, We will never have a shoe at 70 euros. That's not possible for us. But it's because it's not good to have this kind of product. So unfortunately, we'll never reach this kind of pricing. And we're doing everything, we cut margins on our side, we distribute online, we try to do everything to reduce the final price. But at some point, you have to pay rightly the people who are manufacturing the product. You have to pay your team, you have to choose the right materials. So you could increase the carbon emission of your product and decrease the price of your product at some point. But then, there is no much sense of what you do. So, of course, price is something that is really tackling, and we are asking ourselves every day how we can make it a bit more wider. But it's not healthy to have a product at 50 euros, and we just, even myself, have to stop looking for big decrease, Black Friday discounts and everything. And it's really something that we need to change in the way we consume products.
Definitely. And that ties in with my next question. Earlier this year, we heard about the bankruptcy of an alternative fibre company, Renewcell, and it hit all of the headlines within the fashion industry, so I'm sure you all heard about it. Do you think that, and I should say that it is back in business now as Circulose, but do you think there is enough investment in alternative fibre producers and next-gen material developers, and what lessons can we learn from what happened there with Renewcell earlier this year?
Yeah, that is a very good example on how we have the technology there, but the brands, they need to give the chance for this technology to be more efficient and to grow and to scale, and then we will be also less costly. But we also need to be competing in a fair market, because if you want something that is with social impact, that pays everywhere, there's the right weights, that has the lowest environmental impact possible, you need to pay for that. And if you want that, you cannot then ask them to have the same price, but something that, I'm not going to use the words, but that is not covering legally the same rights. So you need to pay the people. You need to make sure that the end farmer gets what they need to get to have a normal life, to bring the kids to the school. It's just not common sense for me, but in the height level, only economists or economy gonna work. So we need to change that way, and that's the problem with Renewcell. They are a beautiful technology that can solve many problems, but you need to pay for it.
Did you want anything to add to that?
Yeah, about investments?
Yeah.
Well, actually, we just raised money, and I met a lot of interesting investors, what we call impact fund. Really cool, because there is some people willing to invest in our kind of companies, and basically if you go to a private equity fund, they will expect to have 10 times a return on their investment in your company. they're expecting much less. Still, they're expecting to have some money. This is capitalism, but times 5, times 4. So hopefully you have some people willing to earn some money, but understanding, okay, I will not like earn that much, but I'm placing money in an area where it matters. And we met a lot of people that have this matter. So it exists, just that it needs to be encouraged. Encouraged, yeah. And after that, it's a legal issue. Like all the like and I'm speaking for France on this matter, but public subsidies, they have to be given to brands that like are focused on their carbon impact, are creating values in Europe. Like they have a facility in Spain, we are producing in Portugal. We understand why in France the subsidies are not going to brands like bringing value here, you know. Again, it's a legal issue, and well, apart from voting here, I don't know what to do to change the things, but it's getting there. Again, too slowly, but I think it's getting there.
And obviously, we are seeing interest. I mean, Raquel, your offering has already been used by the likes of H&M, as we touched on earlier, and Hugo Boss, and obviously your brand as well. What advice would each of you give to fashion brands and garment manufacturers looking to grow their biomaterial offering in future?
Just that they need to be open, I guess open-minded also on embracing like new materials, like don't go just to what you know. So there is lots of things there to try, and fashion should be like colorful. So you should be trying different things. You should have your own style. And so my advice is just go for it and think on the planet and on the people.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I would say the same. Maybe just be sure, like the way of making a pair of shoes with biomaterials is not the same as with animal leather, and we have spent a lot of time, you know, to understand how to make like a durable shoe, because you're making shoes with plant-based material. Still, it needs to hold 2 years, 3 years, because if not, again, there is no point. It's specific material. And each material is different. And for the people who never saw Pinatex, you should really check it, because even for like as a fashionable interest, it's a special texture, it's a special color, it's also a special way to make fashion goods with them. So you just need to make sure your manufacturing facility will understand how to make your product with plant-based material. Cactus skin, corn skin, apple skin, they're all different. They hold like you have to in your machine put it's technical, but the temperature, and the increase, it's an art, and you need to understand how to make goods with this new type of materials.
Amazing. And anyone at the end, if you want to come and have a feel of the fibres, you've got them with you, haven't you? Keen to bring the audience in. It's been a fascinating chat. Did anyone have any questions that they wanted to ask our panel? We've got a question over here.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for your insights. I'm just wondering, for smaller and emerging brands, how can they get involved with using alternative materials? Because it sounds like a lot of this comes from bigger brands wanting to work with you guys, but for a small from a smaller and emerging brand, how would we actually tap into that at our scale?
Actually, 80% of our clients are small and medium brands. So it's just that when you talk about Hugo Boss, Nike, everyone knows them. So it's easier for us to make the marketing. But our 80% or even 90% of our clients are small brands. And you just need to go online to our webpage or email info and you will have all the information there. So we are very available, and our MOQ is just 1 meter. So to give you an idea how accessible we want to be.
And so one more question just for you, Achille. With your customer base, what are they buying into? What have you found that they're really looking at when they look at your product? You know, because you're obviously competing with bigger brands out there, but when they look at your plant-free offering, what is it that they're that they're looking for specifically?
I'm sorry, I cannot hear
So,
well. The question is why are they buying?
What are your consumers looking
Yeah, like
for
what-
specifically when they come to your brand?
Yes.
Why they're buying?
Yeah, what do consumers look for specifically when they come to your brand? What are they buying for?
Okay.
Yeah, so is it
Sorry,
design?
I'm not-
Is it the cost? Is it the impact? Like, what are they looking for?
I'm sorry, it's not my native language, so just take time. It's very different from each customers. Online, like, we're making a lot of surveys after the buying. So I can tell you, like, 35% of the people buying shoes on our website are either vegan or vegetarian. So there is an interest, and this is really higher than the percentage of the population. So there is an interest for some people to have alternatives to leather because they just don't want to wear dead animal skin on their foot. That's the first thing. After that, the style always usually needs to be cool and beautiful. That's like how we learned. Like we are also doing some wholesale. We are in like 200 points of sales right now in Europe. They don't have all the information we have online. So the style, and we're trying to put as many information as people can find when they're in front of the product. If they find it beautiful, they can ask one question. They're just gonna end the conversation understanding it's eco-friendly. That's it. Like they don't understand that much. It's eco-friendly, so they're gonna buy it. Online, what's really working for us is that we're matching all the colors of our products with the plants that we use. So all the red shoes are made from apple skin. All the green shoes are made from cactus. All the blue shoes are made from mushroom. All the yellow, brownish shoes, they're made with Piñatex from Ananas Anam. So it's also really, it's a marketing stuff, yes, but it's also a way to speak about the different materials. So they're also coming because they're saying in an afterwork, hey, I have apple shoes, I have corn shoes, and they find it cool. So it's another way to make them buy the product.
Brilliant. Any other questions? I think that's it. I think you'll agree this has been a really interesting chat. So thank you so much to our panel for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.